Hello, I'm delighted to take part in the Caretakers of the Environment conference today to talk about our work at 14 Henrietta Street as a sustainable urban heritage site. I am Kate Chandler, the Creative Engagement Lead for Heritage at Dublin City Council Culture Company that runs 14 Henrietta Street. And 14 Henrietta Street is a social history museum of Dublin life from one building's Georgian beginnings to its tenement times. We were recently awarded the Soletto Prize in the European Museum of the Year Award, which is given to a museum that demonstrates excellence in involving its local community in heritage projects. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you today about our work, which really speaks to the conference theme of sustainability, and in particular, sustainable communities working together locally and globally for a sustainable future. I'm going to talk about this work in the context of the three pillars of sustainability: environmental, social, and economic, and how all three are at the heart of 14 Henrietta Street's operations, engagement practices, and curatorial mission. But first, a little bit about who we are and how we work. But established in 2018, Dublin City Council Culture Company runs cultural initiatives and buildings across the city with and for the people of Dublin. We collaborate with people, communities, cultural organisations, businesses, and Dublin City Council to embed cultural experiences and increase cultural participation throughout Dublin. We believe in the social value of culture, the power of human stories, and that when people feel connected to their communities, they feel safer, stronger, and healthier. Our vision is for a Dublin where culture connects everyone and everything, and our mission is to connect people through culture and conversation. And these ways of working inform everything we do at 14 Henrietta Street. So a little bit more about 14 Henrietta Street, the museum. In 2018, we took operational control of 14 Henrietta Street, which is in a Georgian townhouse, and it tells the story of the shifting fortunes of the building and its residents over 300 years. The site is a place of memory for a lot of people. Many, many visitors have come forward with either their own memories and stories of Dublin's tenements or stories of their parents and grandparents who lived in tenements like 14 Henrietta Street. By listening and talking with local residents and the community, the museum continues to discover new stories and gather memories, adding to our collection and preserving the cultural heritage of the building and the local area. The aims of the museum are to share, engage, and discover. So by sharing, we tell stories and the story of the lives of the people at 14 Henrietta Street. By engaging, we make connections. We listen to people, we talk to them, whether they're visitors, citizens, historians, local residents, former residents, or their families. And we discover, we are uncovering history all the time. And by researching the house and its occupants and continuing to learn from the memories and knowledge of others, this helps us discover more about the story of the building. This cycle and a sustainable way of working is at the heart of everything we do. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about environmental sustainability at 14 Henrietta Street. And in a way, this was one of the first pieces of work ever undertaken at the museum. So in the 1970s, the last people who lived in 14 Henrietta Street moved out. Dublin City Council began a 10-year-long journey in 2000 to rescue and restore the building that had become derelict and had deteriorated in the intervening years. And this was part of the Dublin City Council Henrietta Street Conservation Plan. The conservation work that happened in the building at this time aimed to keep as much as possible of the original fabric of the building, and it involved the work of local master craftsmen who repaired and restored the fabric of the building using traditional skills. It opened to the public in 2018, and just before it opened, there was a lot of work done to engage with local people and collect memories of the building, and a lot of the museum and the museum's rooms were developed as a result of those conversations with people. So that brings me on to the next pillar, social sustainability. And this, as I've already said, is at the heart of the way we work at the museum, those principles of sharing, engaging, and discovering. We're building relationships with our local community is really important. And we're quite unusual for a museum in that our collections policy is about collecting stories rather than objects. So about 50% of the museum's collection is the building itself. 20% is material objects, the items that you see around the house. 5% are artistic responses to the building, the videos and the poems written about the building. And 25%, so a huge chunk, are the stories, the oral histories that we're gathering in our conversations with people. And we're making opportunities all the time for people to tell us these stories through our oral history project, Your Tenement Memories. And this safeguards the future of the museum by protecting these stories and securing them in the collection. So we're inviting people to share their own stories all the time through this project. And we're also telling these stories. So going back to that idea of sharing. And to do this, we work on a principle of responsive programming. So we're responding to the stories of all 300 years of the building's history. And we're speaking and listening to people and hearing these stories to learn how best to do this. And this ensures that what we are sharing with people is authentic and it's relevant, and we have a really human-centered approach all the time. So an example of this is our Tea Time Talks, which is a talk series given by historians, local people, and local community groups that tells different stories that come out of these conversations. And also Neighbours Day, which is an annual day where we invite people in our local area to come into the building and look around and just have a cup of tea and a chat with us. We also take a really inclusive approach to the development of our tours. And this comes through really strongly in the work we do with schools. So we work with local schools to create the school tours, and we invite children and students and teachers to tell us what they are interested in and what they would like to see on their visit to the building. And these tours really encourage creative thinking to discover the story of the building, building skills and knowledge that will be of use in the future. And finally, a few words about our economic sustainability. So in 2019, a year after we opened for the first time, we had 34,000 visitors to the building. Most of these people lived in Dublin, but we have a growing international audience too. We offer an authentic experience that appeals to local people, and we believe that tourists want to see what locals want to see. We provide employment in the local area by hiring local tour guides and staff. The increased footfall in the area generates additional customers for local businesses such as coffee shops, restaurants, shops, and other services. And we always recommend local businesses to our visitors. We don't have a cafe or a tea room in the museum, so we always recommend, if visitors want refreshments, to go down the road to one of our local cafes or restaurants that are nearby. The work done in the building assists with the recovery and conservation of other historic buildings in the area, and the success of the museum strengthens reasons to invest in the city's heritage, as well as raising the profile of this area as a place to visit. And by being acknowledged in the European Museum of the Year Award, 14 Henrietta Street has been proven to have European relevance. It's raising awareness and interest in Ireland and beyond of our shared cultural heritage. So all of these factors contribute to 14 Henrietta Street being a great example of a sustainable urban heritage site. And thank you so much for listening to this presentation. If you want to find out more, you can find us at 14henriettastreet.ie, or you can get in touch with us at info@14henriettastreet.ie. Thank you again for listening.